All right, so the actor Lakeith Stanfield went on to Instagram in order to post a response towards black blogs for apparently being anti-black. Now, you may know Lakeith Stanfield as being an actor in the film Get Out and also having a starring role in the hit show Atlanta. So, what he said on his Instagram was this. Basically, the Shade Room, Lipstick Alley, Breakfast Club, World Star, and many outlets are anti-black. It's a fact that a lot of these platforms usually or tend to be feeding grounds for negative reinforcement towards black nonconformists. They bolster false vanity and hold a white supremacist scope over black men and women, often highlighting negative attributes and downplaying mind-expanding ones. They serve as a bottomless coward consumption pit and digital audio or otherwise slave mentality museums at all you want. Alright, so after he posted that on his Instagram, he got a lot of praise in his comments. But there were people that did not disagree, that didn't agree what he said and posted their own response. One of the people was Charlamagne, who's a host of the Breakfast Club. And what he said was this.
Yeah, it's the Breakfast Club, bitches.
Who's Donkey of the Day today?
Yes, Donkey of the Day for Thursday, November 14th goes to an actor by the name of Lakeith Stanfield. You know Lakeith Stanfield, right? He plays Darius on the TV show Atlanta. You may know him as Andre from Get Out. Remember, he was the black man who went missing, and then when Chris hit him with the flash at the brunch auction Klan rally, he flipped out. Yeah, that brother. Well, yesterday he posted this on Instagram. He posted the Shade Room, Lipstick Alley, Breakfast Club, World Star, and many others are or anti-black. That's how he typed it. He said, and many other are, A-R-E, then typed or are, O-R, anti-black. I guess he didn't know which word to use or how to use it, so he decided to do both to be safe. I get it. Now, I had a great session with my spiritual counselor, Yadi, last night, dropping the clues bombs for Yadi. I also have therapy Friday at 3. One thing that my therapist and spiritual counselor allowed me to see is the God in everything. Everything is God. So even though this statement pissed me off for a second yesterday, it did. And I'll tell you why. I'm still going to see the good of God in this statement and use it as an opportunity to teach Lakeith. Because, Lakeith, you have to practice what you tweet or, in this case, post on the gram. Now, first of all, I breathed all of this out last night during my spiritual counseling session. I grounded myself, brought myself back to center, and released the anger. Because I know Envy was trying to rile me up when he sent this to me yesterday. Okay? I released all this anger last night I had for this statement. Because, you know, you can say any and everything about me. I've damn near heard it all about myself online. But what you won't do is ever fix your lips to call one of my platforms, especially the Breakfast Club, anti-black. All right? Let me read the caption Lakeith Stanfield put with this meme. He said, it's a fact that a lot of these platforms tend to be feeding grounds for negative reinforcement toward black nonconformists. They bolster faux vanity and hold a white supremacist scope over black men and women, often highlighting negative attributes and downplaying mind-expanding ones. They serve as bottomless coward consumption pits and digital audio or otherwise slave mentality museums at all you want. End quote. I don't know what the hell Lakeith Stanfield is talking about, but I do know myself, Charlamagne the God, in the 9 years I've been on this Breakfast Club, I strive every day to be the perfect balance of ratchetness and righteousness. All right. There's not another show out there that goes from Byron Allen to Black Youngster like it's nothing. All right. You tell me a show where the guest list goes from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to 21 Savage. This show has gone from me talking about sucking farts out of women's asses to me encouraging brothers and sisters to go to therapy and invest in their mental wealth. You know why, Lakeith? Because that's life. And that's the way life works. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and act like we've gotten it right all the time because we haven't. We've made plenty of mistakes on this radio. Plenty of things I've looked back on and said, yeah, we should have played that a certain way. And all that critique is fine. But Lakeith Stanfield, don't you ever fix your raggedy ass mouth to call the author of black privilege, because I truly believe it is a privilege to be black, anti-black. Okay? Ask all those white people who call up here every day complaining about me saying crack ass cracker. or mayonnaise are asking me why everything got to be black and white. All right, ask them. Okay, if I'm anti-black. Don't ever fix your mouth to call a brother like me anti-black, because, Young King, I know for a fact you don't take the chances that I do every day in the name of blackness, all right? That's exactly why you didn't call out any white media outlets, because your publicist, your agent, and those Hollywood executives you work for would have had a fit. You would never take that chance. See, as a black person, it's safe to go at black outlets like Shade Room, World Star, Lipstick Alley, Breakfast Club, and many others, as you said, but you would never fix your mouth to say that about any of the white outlets that do the same damn thing, because you know that would affect you in Hollywood. So who's the real coward? Okay, who's really got the slave mentality? If it's easier to call out your own black people than it is to go at the others, white folk. Lakeith is one of these folks who be on red carpets and they don't even speak to black outlets. Okay, walk right past Baller Alert or Bossip or Jasmine Brand and go talk to E or People, as if those outlets don't report so-called negative stories, as if those outlets are any less messy. Okay, Lakeith, I think it's hard to get the character Andre out of your spirit, because it sounds like you may still be in the sunken place. But I'm not about to go back and forth with you about this. I'm going to simply say, when you are on any of these platforms, or even when you are on your own platforms like social media, how about be the change you want to see in the world? Don't give these platforms negativity to reinforce, because all we can do is provide the platform. The artists provide the content. There's been plenty of people who have sat in this room and elevated the conversation in this room, elevated the vibration in this room. You said that these platforms highlight negative attributes and downplay mind-expanding ones, but when you get the opportunity to speak, do you do that, King? I remember when you came on the Breakfast Club and I asked you about the name of your group, the Moors. That was an opportunity for you to teach, to tell us about the African conquerors of Spain, all right, to possibly tell us about Moorish civilization. But do you remember your answer? Now, the name of your group is the Moors.
Moors.
Is that the original Moors, black Africans they threw the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you want to name the group that?
Like a lot of things in my life, it was brought forth by manifestation of the universal comprised of the fabric of the universe.
He was high.
I was high.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where was the mind expansion in that? Where was the mind expansion when you was on IG rapping lyrics with gay slurs? Remember that? Remember when he was letting the F word fly? Play that.
Boy, you're dressed like trash. You a 8'6". Take that choke chain back. That's some gay shit. Only black rags in my cab like I'm racist. Bag, I don't really like to brag, but I'm straight rich. Fucking bitches out the ass and I'm famous. And all these gay niggas mad cause they hate this. Coming through swerving on a nigga like
Now look, you know, I've said things that I regret and used language that I regret, so I would never be that kind of hypocrite, but I'm just playing that to remind you that you haven't always been this woke warrior you claim to be, okay? In fact, you apologize for that freestyle. You know why? Because you know Hollywood don't play that. They will blackball your black ass in a minute. They will cancel you so quick that the only outlets who would accept you and still embrace you is, the black ones. Us, okay? It's just so crazy to me. You talk crazy about black outlets, but when you come on the black outlets, it's not like you being this intellectual beacon of light, okay? He was on Breakfast Club talking about being sexually attracted to dogs. Remember that?
I mean,
you from Cali, ain't you?
Yeah.
And you're not a Snoop fan?
Nah, I remember like looking at the Doggy Style album and being young and confused and not knowing whether I was sexually attracted to the dog or like what I should.
The dog had a fat ass.
Yeah, that's real fat. I was like, yo,
I remember.
I'm starting to look at dogs weirdly now.
Yeah, okay, it happens. But you go on Jimmy Kimmel and you're respectful. And you bring the white man flowers. Remember that?
That's a good jacket. It really is.
Thank you very much. It's a magic jacket.
It's a Magic Johnson jacket, or it actually has magic powers?
It brings things into third dimensional space that weren't there before.
It does?
Yes, like flowers, for instance.
Are you going to do a magic trick? Wow. Thank you.
Aw. Took the flower off your jacket and just gave it to the white man. Lakeith, you was getting interviewed for that Netflix project Death Note, and you was on there barefoot while the white man was interviewing you, and you was sniffing your feet and licking your toes. This is a literal video. What? He was sniffing his feet and licking his toes. Let me hear
I did not see that. That's disgusting.
You choose a lot of seemingly political roles that have, like, you know, look at society in different ways. Selma, Atlanta, Get Out. Do you pick scripts that way?
I tend to be a part of stories that speak to my five senses. Mm-hmm. Sight, hearing, touch, and taste.
Taste. So you're not going to taste it. Shall we do that?
He's talking about the social implications of the roles that he plays in movies like Selma, Get Out, and Atlanta, and he's on there sniffing his feet and licking his feet in front of the white man. But it's the black platforms that are the feeding grounds of negative reinforcement, okay? Is sniffing your feet and licking your toes what you call non-conforming? I don't know what got into you yesterday, King, but watch your mouth when it comes to calling a black man like me anti-black. And always remember, when you point a finger at someone else, point 3 back at yourself, because based on your logic and the things you put out there, you are just as much a problem as you claim us black media outlets are. But Lakeith, I wish you the best. This came from a place of love, and 2 takeaways I want to leave you with is 1, be the change you want to see in media and stop acting like a damn buffoon in all your interviews. And 2, don't burn those black bridges just because white folks in Hollywood sent you a boat. Because history shows us what happens when white folks put black folks on a boat. Right? Please let me give Lakeith Stanfield the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, you stupid motherfucker, you dumb.
Okay, so after he made Lakeith Donkey of the Day on his show, as a thing that he typically do for people that he may think are the actions that he may not disagree with or statements that they make. After he did Donkey of the Day, Lakeith posted his response to him, and he said this.
They bolster faux vanity and hold a white supremacist scope over black men and women, often highlighting negative attributes and downplaying mind-expanding ones. They serve as bottomless coward consumption pits and digital, audio, or otherwise slave mentality museums at all you want, end quote. I don't know what the hell Lakeith Stanfield is talking about, but
I know you don't know what I'm talking about, and that's clearly evidenced by a lot of stuff you said in this video, but I'm gonna let you keep going.
know myself, Charlamagne the God. In the 9 years I've been on this Breakfast Club, I strive every day to be the perfect balance of ratchetness and righteousness. All right, there's not another show out there that goes from Byron Allen to Black Youngster like it's nothing. All right, you tell me a show where the guest list goes from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to 21 Savage. This show has gone from me talking about sucking farts out of women's asses to me encouraging brothers and sisters to go to therapy and invest in their mental wealth. You know why, Lakeith? Because that's life. And that's the way life works, okay? I'm not going to sit here and act like we've gotten it right all the time, because we haven't. We've made plenty of mistakes on this radio, plenty of things I've looked back on and said, yeah, we should have played that a certain way. And all that critique is fine. But Lakeith Stanfield, don't you ever fix your raggedy-ass mouth to call the author of black privilege, because I truly believe it is a privilege to be black, anti-black, okay?
Okay, I'm going to try to get through this without using ad hominem attacks and silly little things about your own personal life, because I don't think that's really what we have to hear. We have to the issues and topics at hand. Now, you just illustrated that sometimes you bring good guests, sometimes you bring bad guests. And that's kind of what I hinted to in the subtext of what you just read. Basically, what I was saying is outlets like yours have a tendency to lean toward highlighting negative things. And that's true. And if you don't understand that we engaged in a war, that it's a war to be black in this bitch, that means if you ain't on the team moving things forward, then you against the goddamn team, period. So if y'all doing more of that bullshit, then that shit goes under the umbrella, which I will admit is a generalization, but the umbrella of anti-black. And that's what the fuck I'm talking about. We're going.
Ask all those white people who call up here every day complaining about me saying cracker ass cracker or mayonnaise, or asking me why everything got to be black and white. All right, ask them. Okay, if I'm anti-black, don't ever fix your mouth to call a brother like me anti-black, because Young King, I know for a fact you don't take the chances that I do every day.
Okay, whatever the fuck that means. But also, I never called you personally anti-black, but I can see why out of everybody you might be the most offended one on the goddamn show. You know, but I never pointed you out. I said the platform as a whole, all three of y'all.
It's all right. That's exactly why you didn't call out any white media outlets, because your publicist, your agent, and those Hollywood executives you work for would have had a fit. You would never take that chance. See, as a black person, it's safe to go at black outlets like Shade Room, World Star, Lipstick Alley, Breakfast Club, and many others, as you said, but you would never fix your mouth to say that about any of the white outlets that do the same damn thing. Because
I'm focusing on the outlets that I tend to frequent and the ones that are predominantly are dealing with what we consider the black thing. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that I'm really focusing in on, honing on at this particular moment. But that don't mean that I don't critique others. You may not hear that, you may not see that, but I critique all kinds of things. It just happened to be that this was on the list in the menu today. To suggest that, you know, I'm not going against the other one. I mean, first of all, that's not my preoccupation because I know what the fuck they gonna do, but I expect more from y'all. My bad for me holding you up to a higher standard. You know, let me back the fuck off because I hold you to a standard to not diminish your own people. You feel me? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That would affect you in Hollywood. So who's the real coward? Okay, who's really got the slave mentality? If it's easier to call out your own, black people, than it is to go at the others, white folk. Lakeith is one of these folks who be on red carpets and they don't even speak to black outlets, okay? Walk right past.
Not fucking true. I don't know where you got that information, but not true.
Baller alert or gossip or Jasmine brand and go talk to E or people as if those outlets don't report so-called negative stories, as if those outlets are any less messy, okay? Lakeith, I think it's hard to get the character Andre out of your spirit because it sounds like you may still be in the sunken place, but I'm not about to go back and forth with you about this. I'm going to simply say when you are on any of these platforms, or even when you are on your own platforms like social media, how about be the change you want to see in the world? Don't give these platforms negativity to reinforce, because all we can do is provide the platform. The artists provide the content. There's been plenty of people who have sat in this room and elevated the conversation in this room,
Okay, we provide whatever the fuck you're talking about. That's a simple cop-out. That's not taking responsibility for the kinds of things that you conjure up. You can clearly control the dial on your medium because you've done it before when it was in your interest. But when it's not in your interest, you don't. When you're talking to certain people, you do certain things. When you're talking to other people, you do other things. That's why I said you have the tendency. I didn't say you do it all the time. I said you got the tendency because you do.
Vibration in this room. You said that these platforms highlight negative attributes and downplay mind-expanding ones, but when you get the opportunity to speak, do you do that, King? I remember when you came on the Breakfast Club and I asked you about the name of your group.
Okay, he's gonna bring up the Moors. But before we get to this Moors shit, the moment I walked into the Breakfast Club interview, it was very clear to me that I was dealing with three people that were interested in playing idiotic games with me and not getting down to talking about anything of any substance. And there was evidence by that interview if you go back and look at it. I already knew who I was dealing with, so therefore I put the goddamn grill in my mouth and I acted accordingly, just like I do in many of my interviews, which we'll get to later. But I knew what I was dealing with, so why would I go into explaining to you what the Moors are and what it means to me when I know you ain't trying to hear that or listen to that any goddamn way? You don't give a fuck about what the Moors mean. You give more fuck about bringing up my goddamn record, which is what you proceeded to do. Again, messy bullshit, the kind of shit I'm talking about. But go ahead.
Group the Moors. That opportunity for you to teach, to tell us about the African conquerors of Spain, all right, to possibly tell us about Moorish civilization. But do you remember your answer? Now, the name of your group is the Moors. Would that be the original Moors, black Africans they threw the world?
Fabric of the universe outside.
Gotcha. Where was the mind expansion in that? Where was the mind expansion when you was on IG rapping lyrics with gay slurs? Remember that? Remember when he was letting the F word fly? Play that.
Boy, you're dressed like trash. You an 8'6". Take that choke chain back. That's some gay shit. Only black rags in my cab like I'm racist. Bag, I don't really like to brag, but I'm straight rich. Fuck them bitches out the ass and I'm famous. And all these gay niggas mad cause they hate this. Coming through swerving on a nigga like
Now look, you know, I've said things that I regret.
Now, I admit that that was insensitive, and I've since addressed it. And, you know, at the time, to me, it was really about wordplay and playing with an aspect of understanding that I don't actually hold, but I ain't going to go back into that because I've already talked about it. But, yeah, we've all said things that we address and look back to now and say, you know, I could do better and be better. That's all I'm asking everybody to do. Why are you getting all in your feelings about it? It's not personal. It's just a thing that's asking you to reflect and look at yourself and try to be better. I've had to do it. We all have to do it.
Use language I regret, so I would never be that kind of hypocrite, but I'm just playing that to remind you that you haven't always been this woke warrior you claim to be, okay? In fact, you apologize for that freestyle. You know why? Because you know Hollywood don't play that. They will blackball your black ass in a minute. They will cancel you so quick that the only outlets who would accept you and still embrace you is
No, I apologize because that's how I genuinely felt. I'm not going to say some shit I don't feel. I apologize because I didn't want to offend people, but I didn't realize how much reach my social media had at the time. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to know how much reach you have. So yeah, that's why I apologize.
The black ones.
And also, the black ones embracing me when I'm down and out is bullshit. I mean, you don't even embrace me while I'm here sitting in front of you. You know what I mean? So let alone let me be in a down and compromised position. No, you won't embrace me. You'll do the very thing that you do, which is to try and trample on people. I don't know why that's your little forte, but it is.
It's just so crazy to me. You talk crazy about black outlets, but when you come on the black outlets, it's not like you being this intellectual beacon of light. Okay, he was on Breakfast Club talking about being sexually attracted to dogs. Remember that?
I mean,
you got a Snoop fan?
I ain't gonna lie, you funny though.
Like looking at the Doggy Style album and being young and confused and not knowing whether I was sexually attracted to the dog or like what I should. I was like, yo, I'm starting to look at dogs weird now.
So what I'm talking about is when I was a child and I saw the Doggy Style album, obviously, like that was designed to arouse some sexuality in people. It's not like I'm saying that I was literally attracted to dogs. And by the way, it's irrelevant to the argument anyway, so keep pushing.
It happens, but you go on Jimmy Kimmel and you're respectful. And you bring the white man flowers.
I was respectful to y'all too.
It really is. Thank you very much. It's a magic jacket.
It's a Magic Johnson jacket, or it actually has magic powers?
It brings things into third dimensional space that weren't there before.
It does.
Yes, like flowers, for instance.
Are you going to do a magic trick? Wow.
Aw, took the flower off your jacket and just gave it to the white man. Lakeith, you was getting the
Gave it to the white man. What the fuck does that have to do with him being white? Like, just because I give him... So if it was a black host that I gave the flower to, what would that mean? I don't understand. You might have got a flower. Y'all, all three of y'all might have got a flower. Had you just simply been a little bit more cordial and, like, decent to me, but you weren't. Like I just gave a flower to a host of a show. It's not about him being white. So don't try to conflate that to fit your own narrative that you're trying to build very weakly, by the way. Trying to build this narrative that I somehow pandered to white shit and I'm against black shit. Like, come on, chill, bro.
For that Netflix project Death Note, and you was on there barefoot while the white man was interviewing you, and you was sniffing your feet and licking your toes. This is a literal video. He was sniffing his feet and licking his toes. Let me hear.
I did not see that. That's disgusting.
Okay, so because I do some shit for a quirky role that I was playing, and I was playing an interview of Quirky as I played in your interview, and yeah, I lick my feet. I don't care, they my feet. I love them. There ain't no problem with it. I lick my feet, and you can be tolerant or intolerant to that. But again, what the hell does that have to do with the topic at hand that we talking about? Absolutely nothing. It's attempting to try to paint me in a light that's not credible because you got no real arguments. You haven't even addressed none of the arguments that I really talked about yet, other than trying to talk about your therapy book, which I guess maybe you need to do a little bit more therapy so you have some clarity and insight into looking into yourself, man.
Seemingly political roles that have
Atlanta, and he's on there sniffing his feet and licking his feet in front of the white man. But it's the black platforms that are the feeding grounds of negative reinforcement, okay? It's sniffing your feet and licking your toes, what you call non-conforming. I don't know what got into you yesterday, King, but watch your mouth.
Well, non-conforming would see the way that you responded to this, that's what I'm talking about. The way that you responded to me doing things that are, in essence, completely harmless and got nothing to do with nothing. But like, oh, whoa, that's like that. That type of shit is what I'm talking about. You have no space for things that you don't understand. Just because you ain't comfortable to be in your own skin and do what you do, literally and otherwise, be in your own skin, just because you ain't comfortable with that, doesn't mean that I need not be comfortable with it. I can give white, black, blue, or otherwise men flowers and feel completely fine about it. I can lick my goddamn toes. I can suck my toes until this motherfucking salt up off of them and feel comfortable about that, And I hope that everybody can feel comfortable with themselves to do what they want. You ain't got to do what I do, but I'm not going to be sitting back judging you for what you do all day either. That's what I mean. The no tolerance zone for anything you don't understand.
You calling a black man like me anti-black. And always remember, when you point a finger at someone else, point three back at yourself, because based on your logic and the things you put out there, you are just as much a problem as you claim us black media outlets are. But Lakeith, I wish you the best. This came from a place of love, and two takeaways I want to leave you with is one, be the change you...
So yeah, I just wanted to address a couple of them things. I just got off work, so I got a little bit of time, but it's just like, you got to do a little bit better than that, man. Just be honest with yourself. You ain't got to be honest with me. You know what I mean? I don't really give a fuck like that. I'm just posting some shit on my Instagram, you know. But I'm sorry that you had to be offended by it. Hopefully, you know, you could kind of see the truth in it. I know I ain't always perfect on my critiques or all the way around, you know, but you know, I really mean the best. I mean good. I mean for everybody to just do a little bit better to, you know, siphon the kinds of things we put out about ourselves, you know. And that's really all I was trying to do. It may have been a little abrasive, but yeah, you know, I just wanted to address a couple of them things because that shit was crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna take my ass.
After hearing both Charlamagne and Lakeith's point of view, I had to give my own opinion, and I had to agree that I agree with Lakeith in this point because Charlamagne, he really did not attack his argument so much as he did his character, which I think is a low blow to attack somebody's quirks rather than the argument that they're making, which is the number one straw man. Charlamagne is a person that has done things that I do not agree with, such as they being dismissive of women like Lamar La Negra from Love and Hip Hop Miami when she came on to the show, and she's talking about colorism, and he had to like colorism doesn't exist. But this man is a 40-year-old black man. He has to know that colorism is a problem in the black community, and I find it hard to believe that he, who claims to know so much about black people and pretend to be as pro-black as he is, doesn't understand colorism in the community, especially when it comes to media, such as films, where usually their romantic partners lighter skin, or in rap videos when the women typically are lighter as a means to be more marketable in these music videos. And that often can carry itself into real life when a lot of men and women choose lighter partners in order to look more accessible or have lighter skinned kids due to white supremacy. So he has to know that this is an issue. And the fact that he pretends like he's not educated or does not understand it makes me hard to believe it. And I think he's full of BS. And the fact that he made Lil Mama, who was a guest on his show, cry after doing an interview with her really shows how unprofessional it is. And the fact that, you know, he's a clown. Like he often admits that he sniffs girls' seats when they come on his show. So, you know, and this guy is supposed to be like a person that represents black people. And he has like a clown on his show. So I can understand exactly why Lakeith was coming at him the way he did. Also, the Shade Room, which is another blog that I happen to have followed, and I've been very aware of just how toxic they are because of the behaviors that they display on their particular Instagram. How they would post pictures of people like babies and gay people, and then they'll use those particular posts as a means for their followers to spread their hatred. So they manipulate these people to post hateful things on their posts just because of the views and clicks. And they don't even post their own original content. All they do is share other people's content. And they have 10 million followers on their freaking page. But really, they're just stealing other people's content. They don't add anything new to the culture, so to speak. And then they'll post pictures of men in relationships with women that are not black, or the other way around with women, as a means for the black community to be further divided. So you can't tell me that they don't spread anti-black views by purposely manipulating people in the black community that turn against each other. Gay, whether that they be gay, they be black man, they be male or female, you know, they use those, or regardless of what age they are, they use that as a means to turn each of us against each other. And I feel like other blogs do that too. I know the Shade Room is one of the biggest offenders of that. So I agree with Lakeith in that these blogs are very toxic and they want to be the forefront for black people. But if they want to do that, then they need to hold themselves up to higher standards and accept criticism. People like Charlamagne needs to know and understand that he has a platform in which he has so much power to spread positivity, and yet he continues to engage in the toxic behaviors. That he continues to behave in those toxic behaviors and not a lot of knowledge that those behaviors are being displayed on his show. So that's what I want to say about Lakeith, and he was right in formulating his opinion. Now I don't agree with everything that he said in his opinion, and another thing that reminded me of is how Donald Glover went on his show, and Charlamagne mocked him for the way he smelled. But he'll never go to somebody like Gucci Mane and attack him because he knows who he can and cannot go after. Charlamagne is a very weak man, and I feel like Charlamagne has a platform, like I said, and he needs to use his platform to spread more positivity in the black community, and they all need to do that. But will they do that? I highly doubt it. And another thing is, these platforms wouldn't be as big as they are if they didn't have a force behind them that wanted that content. So at the same time, I can't really blame the blogs for posting what they do because at the end of the day, there's always going to be people that are hungry for these type of stories. So I can see it in both lights, but I will say that I do think that they do express anti-black views, and I'm glad that that somebody that is big as Lakeith came out and called them out for this. Alright, but I'm just on 96. I get my opinion on it. Let me know what you have or what you think about it.